Whether it's the shack or the pack, the moon, the suns, or the stars, get into the real things, the authentic stuff. Get into Sports Illustrated Insider Authentics, the catalog that gets you into the game for real. Insider Authentics takes you into the locker room to suit up like the pros. Whatever your team, college or pro, you'll get issued what they get issued. It's exactly what the players and coaches wear with NFL Pro Line, Major League Baseball's Diamond Collection, NBA Authentics, and the NHL Center Collection. Insider Authentics gives you all the big names in the big games: Apex, Champion, Starter, Russell, and others. They feature the same fabrics, cuts, and logos used by the professional and college teams. Sweatshirts, t-shirts, shorts, and jerseys that can take a pounding and still look like a hero. It's quality that's unbeatable. It's Sports Illustrated Insider Authentics. Call this toll-free number now to get into it with a free catalog. It's where you find all the stuff that's hard to find. It's where you can get into it all without going out. And you get it all on time with express delivery that won't keep you waiting. Plus, you can order the sports videos that capture the excitement of the event, the teams, the stars. You'll also get inside the world of sports celebrities through signed helmets, balls, and covers. These items are limited, so call now for a free catalog. Ask how you can join the Insiders Club and save 10% on all purchases. Plus, you'll receive 2 free videos. Watch for Insiders Authentics ads in Sports Illustrated. Get inside with royalty, the mighty, the biggest, and the best. It's great stuff. Call for a free catalog and get inside with Sports Illustrated Insider Authentics.
Hi, I'm Peter King of Sports Illustrated. Along with my colleague Michael Silver, it's my pleasure to introduce the 1995 New York Jets Video Yearbook.
In this Sports Illustrated special presentation, we're going to give you an exclusive look at New York Jets football, past, present, and future.
And we're going to start with a review of the 1994 Jets season. Michael, it's obviously a season that ended in disaster for the Jets with the firing of Pete Carroll. Interesting thing about the firing of Pete Carroll, because the owner, Leon Hess, told him flat out, "Sorry, Pete, I'm letting you go. We want to win now." Well, the Jets had a funny way of showing that in this offseason. They let go 3 of their 5 starting offensive linemen and their only productive wide receiver, Rob Moore, and don't have experienced hands to replace them. It's going to be really, really tough for Jets fans to muster up a lot of optimism about this season.
Well, one-time Jets fans are not shy about expressing their opinion is on draft day. This year, believe it or not, they had a lot to cheer about. The Jets go out and get Kyle Brady out of Penn State with the 9th pick overall. Brady is the best tight end to come out of the draft in the 90s. All it means is that Johnny Mitchell will be used more as a receiving type of tight end in the Kellen Winslow mold. Then they go out and get Hugh Douglas from Central State, a mean pass rusher. Here's all you need to know about him. His first minicamp, he's getting into it, shoving around a bunch of veterans. Then he says, "I'm not here to be anybody's blocking sled."
Well, Rich Kotite's going to need a lot of that feistiness to make a competitive winning team out of these Jets. These are just some of the things we're about to see. For in addition to the 1994 highlights, we'll also take a special trip down memory lane in our Jets Classic segment.
That segment will feature a profile of the most famous New York Jet of all, Hall of Fame quarterback, Broadway Joe Namath.
So without further ado, Sports Illustrated proudly presents the 1995 New York Jets Video Yearbook.
There's a new spring in the step of the New York Jets as they prepare for the coming season, and a new voice that can be heard across the practice field.
Come on, in and out of huddle. Let's go. Come on, let's go, let's go.
That voice belongs to new head coach Rich Kotite, a man with no doubts about the kind of team he wants.
A tough and aggressive football team, one that plays for 4 quarters. I think that's very important. I'm going to be very hard on myself and the staff and the players. I want to win. I want us to win this year. With free agency, I think you have more of an opportunity to win early if you make some good decisions and you get the right type of players. So there's no honeymoon period here.
Get ready, New York. The new era of Jet football is here, and it starts with a change of attitude. The new attitude is simple and clear. Toughness. Both mental and physical toughness. 4 quarters of football, 16 games a year. A hard-nosed team that motivates itself through its own unyielding efforts.
Somebody got to step up and make the big play every time. Every time, make the big play. Somebody got to step up.
On the fake reverse, Boomer has the ball. Now lob near side. It is a catch by Richie Anderson. Touchdown, Jets! Near side for Carter. Intercepted by Turner.
Third and 4, throw over the middle, tip pass, and it's intercepted by Mo Lewis. Lewis has another interception.
Boomer back, fires down the middle, reaching catch, touchdown! That's Yarbrough!
The Jets are cleared for takeoff in '95. The '94 season kicked off against the defending AFC champion Bills. For the Jets, playing in Buffalo had been anything but a hospitable experience. They had lost 5 of their last 6 there, but on this day they would make themselves feel right at home. Johnny Mitchell's 55-yard catch and run set up the Jets' second touchdown of the first half and put the Bills on guard that they were dealing with one inspired football team. On defense, 2 menacing Marvins made life miserable for Jim Kelly, Marvin Jones and Marvin Washington, who swarmed the football all afternoon long and tallied 2 sacks. With an impressive road win in hand, the Jets left the Bills blue and headed home to meet the orange.
Time to buck the Bronco. Let's get some, baby. Let's buck the Broncos, baby. It's our home. Let's get this baby started off right. Jets on 3. 1, 2, 3, Jets. Way back, has protection, throws right side, intercepted by Mo Lewis, and he has a clear shot to the end zone, being chased by Elway, but no chance. 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown! Gotta go to Mo's.
Mo Lewis' 67-yard interception return set the tone for what would be a day of big plays. Boomer Esiason hit Fred Baxter to put the Jets ahead just before halftime. But the Broncos came back and led in the fourth quarter. That's when the Jets saw their chance.
The wound is open. We're about to commit surgery.
Dr. Boomer did his operating with a surgical strike to put the Jets on top. But the Broncos would fight back again and send the game to overtime. In the extra period, Esiason hit Art Monk over the middle, setting up Nick Lowry for a shot at the 12th game-winning field goal of his career.
Anson now calling for the ball. Spot, kick on the way. The kick is up. The kick is good! The Jets win! 25-22! just mobbed by his teammates. Fans are running on the field. And the Jets victorious go now 2-0 on the season.
The Jets' fast start was due in large part to the play of the defense, a defense led by linebacker Mo Lewis. Voted the '94 season's MVP by his teammates, Lewis had one of the best all-round seasons by a linebacker in recent memory, yet often escaped public notice. Why?
When you're playing outside linebacker, that's one of the main things that people look at is the sack total. If you don't have the sack total, you're going to get looked over.
While some linebackers are primarily blitzers, in the Jets' defensive scheme, Lewis is called upon to do it all. His first duty is to stop the run, something he does better than any other man at his position. He's also responsible for shifty running backs over the middle and blazing receivers in the flat. He sheds blockers like flies on his way to pressuring opposing quarterbacks. And he can hit. He even notches an occasional special teams tackle. About the only trouble Lewis has is deciding which part of it all he likes best.
Really and truly, I love playing the run. I like rushing the pass. Really, I like doing it all.
Perhaps the thing Lewis does best is create turnovers. In '94, he forced 3 fumbles. He also picked off 4 passes, tops in the NFL among linebackers, a result of his aggressive attitude.
Maybe the offense cannot score that game. Maybe the defense needs to score. So, you do whatever you can out there on the field, help your team to win. You just don't rely on the offense. You become the offense.
And it is intercepted this time by Mo Lewis. Breaks away, 10-5, touchdown!
This season, look for Mighty Mo to blitz more often and finally get the recognition he deserves. There were also 2 moments in '94 that deserve special mention. In Week 4, running back Johnny Johnson etched his name in the record book with the longest run in New York Jets history.
40, breaks away, 50-yard line, still going 40-yard line, gets to the center of the field, he might go all the way, but he's pitched behind. 20, 15, 10, and he is down at the 6-yard line.
My, what a burst by Johnny Johnson.
Long run, 90 yards, career long.
In Week 15, future Hall of Fame wide receiver Art Monk set an NFL record by catching a pass in his 178th consecutive game.
The pass is caught by Monk, a 5-yard pickup and a standing ovation for Art Monk, who now has the consecutive games with a reception record.
A stellar achievement to cap off a stellar career. In Week 6, the Jets pulled out all the tricks to stop Rookie of the Year Marshall Faulk. Donald Evans led a determined defense with a team-high 7 tackles. In the 4th quarter, Adrian Morrell set up the game's only touchdown with a 19-yard run.
Fake. Here's Boomer looking, throwing, caught by Mitchell, touchdown! It ain't no surprise.
In Week 7, the Jets joined the rest of the NFL in turning back the clock for a throwbacks weekend, in which former greats were honored and old-style uniforms were donned. Brad Baxter made playing in the shadow of the former greats easy by scoring 2 first-half touchdowns. The Jets' offense was making beautiful music. Then the defense turned up the volume on Drew Bledsoe.
Drew Bledsoe has looked like a rookie quarterback instead of a guy in his 2nd year who has done well.
Bobby Houston's sledgehammer hit helped secure a crucial win. 2 weeks later, he would repeat his late-game heroics against another divisional foe. The Buffalo Bills came looking for revenge in Week 10, but the Jets had other ideas. They saw a chance to sweep the mighty Bills for the first time since 1986. Richie Anderson's 22-yard run set up the first score.
Here is Boomer rolling left side, throws wide open. Johnny Johnson makes the catch, touchdown.
And then it was time to do what the Jets do best, hit. Bobby Houston landed the haymaker. The defensive manhandling of the Bills was just a prelude of things to come. In Week 12, the Jets' defense had their eye on Viking quarterback Warren Moon. Specifically, Marcus Turner.
16-yard line, Jet territory, Moon back. He throws left side too high and intercepted by the Jets. The Jets with the football and coming up the near sideline. It's going to be a run all the way back. It's Turner. He's going to go all the way. Turner 15, 10, 5, and it's a touchdown.
Turner was one of several Jets who would have their best game of the season. Boomer Esiason was 22 for 29 with 2 touchdowns. Johnny Mitchell hauled down a career-best 11 catches. In the fourth quarter, Marcus Turner snagged his 3rd interception of the game and AFC Player of the Week honors. The Jets were now 6-5 and had a shot at the division lead the following week against Miami. The Jets were laying in wait for the Dolphins on the day of the first-place showdown, listening for the battle cry.
Squish, Steve, fish, go Jet! 3rd and 1. Here is the play fake to Johnson. Boomer back there, lots of time, throws. It's caught by Mitchell. Touchdown! Handoff goes to Baxter, banging up the middle. He's across.
The Jets piled it on with 3 first-half touchdowns.
Looking, throws to the right side, wide open. Mitchell catches it to 10, 5, touchdown!
Things were only going up, but what went up eventually came down.
The Jets have opened up a lead, but again, nothing safe with Dan Marino on the other sideline.
Truer words were never spoken, as the Jets' dream of a first half became a second-half nightmare. The future Hall of Famer kept on throwing. The Dolphins kept celebrating. And the Jets tried their hardest to hold fast. But everything that had gone so right in the first half was now going wrong.
Anderson, it is intercepted!
Marino put the Dolphins in position for what appeared to be a tying field goal.
32, 31, 30 seconds to go. I believe Marino is saying, I'm going to spike it. Marino back, and he looks to the right side, throws, touchdown Ingram. Marino was faking. He pretended as if he was going to spike by making that motion. And the place is stunned, rightfully so.
It was a confidence-crushing loss, whose repercussions would prove devastating. The Jets would drop their last 4 games to fall out of playoff contention. Suddenly, the season that had started with such promise was now a shattered wreck on the rocks of what might have been. The players were frustrated. The morale of the fans hit an all-time low. The team was sliding backwards, and something had to be done.
I'm one of those fans that's disappointed just like the rest of them. I just felt that I owed it to the fans, I owed it to the Jets, and I even owed it to myself to do something. I decided that I would make a change in our coach. I'm 80 years old. I want results now. I'm entitled to some enjoyment out of this team, and that means winning. And Rich Kotite, in my opinion, is one of those men that can make a winning team out of the Jets.
My philosophy is really very simple. I'm not a genius. I don't have all the answers. But I do know one thing, the way the NFL is today, that if you have a team that you prepare and you get a team, as Mr. Hess said, plays for 60 minutes and plays as hard as they can, that you always have a chance to succeed, and most of the time you will.
Success through hard work is nothing new to Rich Kotite. A small college All-America at Wagner College, Kotite worked his way up to the pros and survived on guts and guile while playing for both the Giants and Steelers. After paying his dues as an assistant, he eventually made it to the top. In 4 years as head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, Kotite led the team to their first playoff victory in over a decade, and an overall winning record, often under very difficult circumstances.
Red zip 83A shoot. You look the other way to shoot. Nobody covered him. You got the kids. Oh no! Give me that play again. Red right zip 83 A shoot. Yeah. Nobody covered the A. You see it on the field, Coach. Okay. I looked over there. I did look over there. To the right side, right? Nobody was there, kid. Okay, don't even worry. Hey, listen, hang in there.
On the practice field, Rich Kotite is quiet, pensive, surveying the scene with a keen eye. But on Sunday afternoon, the competitive fire comes out.
Let's bring it back and be smart and get it past the 35. Now let's go. Take the sting out of these guys. Official. He just killed the quarterback. What's the penalty for? Let's get the flag out. Return it. They're not getting down anyway. Return it. Out of way to go. Out of way. Hey, way to go in there. Let's go. Come on, play like champions. Let's get down there. Hey, you got to play like champions.
I think we have to create a mentality of kind of setting high standards for ourselves and demanding it of ourselves and of others, and I think that's important, and I'm trying to surround ourselves with the type of football players that have that mentality and have it grow and build.
In addition to re-signing Mo Lewis, Bobby Houston, Tony Casillas, and Brad Baxter, the Jets signed former Pro Bowl safety Todd Scott from the Vikings, running back Dexter Carter from the 49ers, quarterback Bubby Brister, and defensive back Otis Smith from the Eagles, hard-hitting defensive back Gary Jones from the Steelers, defensive ends Matt Brock from the Packers, and Eric Howard from the Giants. They also traded for running back Ronald Moore. The college draft yielded 2 impact players. With the 9th choice overall, the Jets selected tight end Kyle Brady from Penn State. A devastating blocker and sure-handed pass catcher, Brady will provide a 6'6", 260-pound target over the middle. One thing Brady brings with him from Happy Valley is a winning attitude.
Coach Kotite last night was speaking to the team about getting to the playoffs, and I'm used to being on a winner at Penn State, and I want to continue that tradition here.
The Jets' other first-round pick was pass-rushing defensive end Hugh Douglas from Central State. As opponents at the Hula Bowl found out, Douglas's speed around the corner is matched only by his no-nonsense attitude.
I'm not coming out here to be nobody's tackling dummy. I'm not here to be somebody's flunky or anything. I'm just here to play football.
But first, rookies must learn.
Don't wind up. Straight up the ground. One more time. Come on, dude. Whoa, now you release more out of those quads now.
Think short yardage, man.
There you go, much there. One more time, one more time.
With quality young players like Brady and Douglas, key free agent signees, and a core of savvy veterans, the Jets will feature a forceful blend of youth and experience, all of which will help them achieve their most important goal.
But the most important thing is to realize it's a long season. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. You got to finish strong.
Anchored by one of the best linebacking trios in football, the defense will play a crucial role in the Jets' drive toward meaningful games in December. On special teams, Brian Hansen's punts will be covered by number 37, Anthony Pryor, and special teams captain number 21, Victor Green. On the offensive line, Roger Duffy, Siapeli Malamala, Matt Willig, Cal Dixon, and James Brown will provide a formidable front for both the passing and running game.
This year we're going to be a different type of team. We're going to be more of a run-oriented team, more of a northeastern type of football team that, come November and December, a lot of it is going to come on the ground. We have some real strong backs, a big, strong offensive line, so we'll control the ball a lot better than we did last year.
As usual, the 95 team will also enjoy the family support that is part of the New York Jets.
We're in a very high-profile, high-stress business, and I think when you have that family atmosphere and everyone in the organization matters, I think it contributes to being successful.
The new attitude is in place. The excitement isn't far behind. Greatness isn't patient, and it won't be compromised. Joe Namath was great, and he knew it.
2 representatives from the Cardinals came to my dormitory and asked me what I wanted to sign. And I told them $200,000, and they both leaned back. Oh my goodness, fell down on the bed. The guy was standing here and leaned back against the wall screaming like they were in agony. And after they calmed down a little bit, I said, there's one more thing. It's what? I said, a new car. I said, a new car too. I said, yeah. He said, what kind of car? I said, a Lincoln Continental. And they said, oh, that figures. They went nuts.
Namath once proclaimed, I can't wait till tomorrow because I get better looking every day. And he meant it, from his head down to his toes.
My feet felt lighter in white. That's what I want. I want a white shoe. I couldn't understand how people made a big deal out of it, but the more we went around, and the more I saw everybody had black shoes on, for me to change at that point would be punking out, man. I don't punk out, so what? So you wear black, I'll wear white.
Whatever his fashion statement, nothing spoke louder than Joe Namath's right arm.
As a coach, I used to go out on Saturday to watch college players, and Sid Gilman said to me, what'd you see? And I said, I saw a guy who tips the field. He says, what do you mean? I said, this son plays like he's always going downhill. I mean, he's so good. He plays like he's going downhill. He said, who is it? I said, a kid Namath out of Pennsylvania.
Well, Joe Namath was the most exciting quarterback to play the game and to watch play it. He had a style that no one else had. His feet were so quick and so smooth. It was almost like a ballet in motion. To watch him play to this day, the old tapes, it was just beautiful.
I've never seen a quarterback that had a head that went like so. No, 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 yes, boom. To be able to pick out the open receiver, he was just phenomenal.
I remember one play in New York where we were playing the Jets, and it was a 5-man pattern. I will never forget it. And I really saw his skill show itself in such totality to me. Joe is set up right side, and Don Mann has run a 15-yard out on Marcellus. He's covered. So Pete Lammers is the tight end. Pete comes out and runs a circle pattern. Snell goes into the flat. Boozer runs a check down on my right. Well, then he moves past where Lammers is. And I have this slight panic, like, oh gracious, I'm out of position because he might go to Boozer. He wasn't going to Boozer. He was coming back to the other side of the field where Sal was running an out and up. Emmett Thomas had Sal covered, and the ball comes over the outside shoulder. Sal makes the catch. And it was one of those kinds of joys, even though they scored against us, of seeing the skill that a Joe Namath happened to have.
He was the first to throw for 4,000 yards in a season, and he once threw for 496 on a mere 15 completions. When he had a choice between going short or long, Joe Willie always took it deep. In the NFL, there was an old cliche about moving the ball 3 yards at a time. In the AFL, Namath's credo was 40 yards and a cloud of dust.
The NFL had great players, but everybody had to wear their hair the same style and wear, behave the same. They didn't have the liberty to be themselves, I don't think. And it was in the fishbowl in New York. It was wonderful.
Points on the board, Joe! Points on the board, Joe!
All right, 75 double choice. Flanker Argo out NK, go on 2.
His unmatched talent would make him a world champion and a Hall of Famer. But Joe Namath had more than firepower. Joe Namath had star power, and he knew it.
5,000 fans after a ball game would be out there just to see Joe Namath, to wave to him, to touch him. It was sort of like the Beatles type atmosphere.
By 1967-68, the most famous player in football is Joe Namath. He was the one name that people who weren't even football fans knew.
Namath was the first great commercial property out of football.
I'm so excited. I'm going to get cream.
Let Moxie Maku in your face. So racer won't.
I think great athletes, particularly in that era, the biggest risk they could ever take is to try and change, because there is a certain amount of what they do that's almost magic. And Namath found that the magic was in being himself and putting himself out there and pushing the edge of that envelope. And that ultimately made him a commercial vehicle above and beyond his football skills, although that's what it was based on.
I always enjoyed Joe Namath. I always enjoyed his great skill. I enjoyed his competitiveness and just his overall abilities as a player. And I think here was a fellow who played in the American Football League, who had the kind of media attention, star quality, and income that would help raise the level of income opportunities for the rest of us.
Namath also helped elevate the reputation of the AFL when he led the Jets to a showdown with Baltimore in Super Bowl III. The Jets were 19-point underdogs. So it seemed that too much Miami sunshine was responsible for the bold guarantee that Namath made at an awards banquet.
I got up to the podium, and about the time I'm getting ready to talk, a guy in the back of the room, "Hey, Namath, we're gonna kick your..." You know what? I said, whoa, wait a minute. I said, I got news for you. We're gonna win the game, I guarantee it. Our team wasn't getting respect, and that's how the guarantee came out. It was not planned, it wasn't premeditated, it was just anger and frustration, and I really believed we were going to win the game.
Namath was brash enough and confident enough to make the prediction and then follow through with a great performance. And, so you got to take your hat off and give him credit. Namath was able to read our blitz, and when we did blitz, he got rid of the ball and hurt our blitzing.
Namath continually outgunned and outguessed the vaunted Colts defense.
As I had it on last time. Far away. I had a 60-yard rip on.
But they didn't safety.
They checked it off.
Did you check it though?
Yeah, I checked the line. I had something else on. You know what I mean?
While Namath didn't put up gaudy statistics, A gutsy performance earned him game MVP honors as he secured the AFL's first ever Super Bowl victory. Although off-field exploits established him as the flamboyant character Broadway Joe, Super Bowl III demonstrated that Namath was a natural when it came to playing the role of a champion. And it was this performance that provided him with the thrill of a lifetime.
When the game ended, there was such a feeling of elation, joy, tickling explosion inside. The teammates, you know, we did it! We did it, you know? It was wonderful. And going off that field, it was kind of like a finality of it, you know, yes, and everybody's cheering, and finally, we did it, we did it, we did it, we were #1. I never put my hand up like that for some reason. I don't know why, but that's the only time. And it was just a feeling. I didn't think about it. It was just, yes, yes, yes. Oh, it was great.
See you next year.